He's Chris Mannix, Sports Illustrated NBA writer, joining us on the program. Heat have won 15 in a row. What does that mean, Chris?
Well, it means they're a heck of a regular season team right now, and they're probably the best team in the Eastern Conference. But I'm still not ready to declare Miami as an invincible bunch. They beat Minnesota last night. I was at the game. They beat up on the Knicks, winning in the Garden. That's a big win for them, obviously, on Sunday. But, look, their front court, Dan, still scares the crap out of me. And the way that they're not able to rebound consistently, the way they're playing. I mean, Chris Anderson's been a very nice pickup for them. He's playing big minutes for them at the 5 spot. But at the end of the day, it's still Chris Anderson. And it's not someone that teams like Indiana or several teams in the Western Conference are really afraid of. So I still think that despite this tremendous winning streak and despite the fact LeBron is by far and away the most valuable player in the league right now, I still think their lack of size makes them vulnerable come playoff time.
Yeah, I was watching last night, and I know that Wade and LeBron toyed with Minnesota a little bit, but I was watching, and Chris Bosh had been on the floor for probably 7 to 8 minutes. I did not hear his name once. Mm-hmm. And I think they can be beaten. I just don't. I mean, you have to be consistent in those 4 games, if you're going to win those games. I don't know if somebody can be that consistent against them, and the Heat are going to have home court advantage. So I guess, you're looking at a few things here, certainly with the Eastern Conference. I'm like you. I do like Indiana an awful lot. I just don't know if I can pull the trigger and say if they go toe-to-toe, Indiana will beat them this time around.
Well, Indiana's biggest weakness right now is winning on the road. I mean, they're a tremendous home team. They're horrible on the road right now. And I think this game on Sunday they have against Miami is in Miami,
yep.
And that will be a big statement game for the Pacers. If they can pull off that game, that'll give that young team a lot of confidence going into the playoffs. I think there's not a team in the rest of the Eastern Conference that can beat Indiana. I think Indiana can beat up on New York. They've done it before. Chicago, I don't think Derrick Rose is coming back, so I think they're not going to have a problem handling them. So if they can get to a series with Miami and have the ability to win one of those first 2 games in Miami and split going back to Indiana, that's going to be a major, major thing for them. I'm not sure they can do it either, Dan, in the sense that I'm afraid they'll get beaten the first 2 against Miami. That's my biggest fear. With the Pacers, but if they can split out those first 2 games, that Pacer team, they're so big and physical up front, and they have such a disdain for Miami. They just don't like them at all. It's almost like Boston had against Miami in the last couple of years. I mean, you ask every one of those members of those Pacers team who they want to play in the playoffs, and to a man, they'll tell you it's the Miami Heat. So you add that to the equation, and it makes for a pretty good recipe to win. I just think they have to find a way to win one of those first 2 games on the road.
Help me with this LeBron James dunk contest story, because I'm missing something here. It's almost as if we got to criticize LeBron for something, so why not? He said he was going to be in a slam dunk contest, or he's dunking more than he normally does, or putting on a show in warm-ups, and we're 11 months away from the All-Star game, the dunk contest.
Well, this is the time of year, Dan, where everyone says they're going to be in the dunk contest. As soon as the dunk contest is over, questions are asked of these guys said, you got to compete in the dunk contest? Well, maybe, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And then you have, what I think is a relatively dumb idea by Magic Johnson to put $1 million on the table. I mean, what does $1 million mean to LeBron James? I mean, the guy, collects interest on $1 million on every single day. I mean, I just don't think that's the way to get a guy like LeBron to participate. In fact, I don't think there's any way to get a guy like LeBron James to participate, nor should there be a reason for him to go out there and do it. I just don't see a reason for LeBron to compete in it. The fact that he's doing this stuff before the games, Dan, I think is fun for the fans. It gives fans a free exhibition to watch him go through the legs and dunk on some of his teammates and do all these acrobatic stuff that we don't see from him all the time from regular fans. But I just don't like the idea. I don't think there's a need for him right now to compete in the dunk contest at any point in his career.
But then you hear this, well, he owes it to the NBA.
How? To improve an already crappy All-Star Saturday night? How about the NBA get a little more creative with All-Star Saturday night and do some different types of things? I mean, I suggested they exchange the dunk contest for a King of the Court competition. We just have games of one-on-one between some of the best players in the NBA, and I think you get more players to participate in that because players want to be known as the best one-on-one player in the NBA.
Okay.
They want to be known as the guy that cleans up on the playground because a lot of these guys grew up playing King of the Court and playing one-on-one on loud blacktops all across the country. I think that's a more appealing competition to them. I think the NBA wants LeBron to bail them out, and they want to find some way to make this All-Star Saturday more appealing because it has gotten more and more unwatchable, it seems like, every single year.
Okay, let me ask you this. I came up with this idea last week. 40 versus 20. 3-point shooting contest. Those over 40 against those over 20.
Well, how many over 40 do you have?
Well, there's a variety of guys. I mean, I got Legler, I got Reggie.
You're throwing. Okay, we're going retired guys in the mix. Okay,
yes.
I didn't. Okay, I could see that. I mean, I think the 40 guys would have a decent chance. The shooting is the last thing to go. I mean, I guess that's one way to change it up. Look,
but
I'm in favor
you still
of
get
any kind of change.
But
any kind of change this thing.
But you get these older guys. The NBA loves to celebrate its history. So wouldn't it be nice to bring back Larry Legend? You could get Reggie. You could get these guys out there, and maybe you have teams. So you don't have to shoot, a whole rack of balls there. So you could have some fun there.
Well, didn't they kind of sort of do that with that 3-on-3 competition where they gave these guys spots on the floor? And I remember it was like Craig Hodges or players like that used to camp out in the corner on those spots and try to win those competitions that way. I get what you're saying. I like it. I think it's one way to gimmick it up and make it a little more watchable because right now it's totally unwatchable.
All right, punishment for Serge Ibaka. Is that it? That's all he's getting?
No, I think there's going to be a suspension announced before tonight. I haven't heard anything.
Well, what are they waiting for?
Usually they're in no rush. I mean, it's the morning now in New York City.
No, you're playing the Lakers.
I know, but they're playing the Lakers tonight, so they still have time, and they're playing them at home, so it's not like Serge Ibaka is getting on a plane to go anywhere. I think they'll make a decision on Serge Ibaka today. It would shock me, Dan, really, if he doesn't get a one-game suspension. I mean, that was the worst crotch shot since the Reggie Evans-Chris Kaman incident. That was as deliberate and blatant as I've seen. And Serge Ibaka can say he wasn't aiming that area all he wants. That was as obvious a foul in that area that I've ever seen. I really believe the NBA is going to come down at some point today and give him one game.
Okay, can he appeal so he can play tonight?
No, it doesn't work that way in the NBA.
Okay.
You can appeal it after the fact, try to get your money back, but you can't appeal the suspension. Once the NBA rules, you're out.
Lakers, if they win, they get over 500, and I'm hesitant to say this. Are they looking like a playoff team, a legitimate playoff team?
Well, they're looking like a playoff team, for a variety of reasons. Number one, Kobe Bryant is playing much more efficiently in the last 5, 6, 7 games. I think he's shooting over 50% from the field in addition to his 30 points per game. Everyone else across the board is playing more efficiently as well. But you got to look at who they're beating in these games, Dan. They're still 2-15 against the top 7 teams in the NBA right now. So they might be looking like a playoff team, and they might be able to pass either Houston or Utah to get into the postseason. I think that's still a very realistic possibility given the number of games that are left and the teams that are above them. But are they a team that can contend once they get into the playoffs? No, because they still have yet to consistently beat those teams we're talking about above them. They're still going to have to play Oklahoma City or San Antonio or the Clippers or one of those top 3 teams in the Western Conference. They've done nothing to date to suggest they can win 4 games against one of those teams. So give the Lakers credit for storming back and overcoming all this adversity in the second half. But right now, they're still a team that would probably count its blessings just to make the playoffs.
And I know that you love yourself some Ricky Rubio. The dude can't shoot.
The dude almost beat Miami last night by himself.
He's fun to watch. The dude can't shoot.
Well, he's playing on one leg, Dan. You watch him run around there. He's still trying to recover
What's
from that.
What's the excuse? With one leg, you should be able to. He can't even shoot free throws.
Oh, come on. The guy didn't have a chance to work out much last summer because he was trying to bounce back from that ACL. Ricky Rubio is a great example of why Derrick Rose should not be playing at all this year because Ricky Rubio probably came back too soon, and he's still trying to recover. He's missing games because his body is not compensating enough for that injured knee. He's got back spasms. He's got different types of injuries in his ankle and knee. This guy's clearly not 100%, Dan. And when he is 100%, he will reclaim his status as the best point guard in the NBA.
Oh, my gosh. He's not even in the conversation.
He will be when he comes back next year. This Minnesota team was supposed to be a good team this year. They had injuries all across the board to Rubio, to Love, all the way around some of their top players. When this team comes back next year, Ricky Rubio is going to be back on top.
When you see the Timberwolves president, David Kahn, remind him politely that I'm the one who said, I think Steph Curry and Ricky Rubio would be very, very good draft picks there.
Yeah, well, they certainly would have. But nice to have Steph Curry for Ricky Rubio to pass to at this point.
That's true. All right. Hey, good to talk to you again.
All right, Dan.
All right, buddy. That's Chris Mannix, Sports Illustrated NBA writer. Man, he loves himself some Ricky Rubio. Rubio's fun, but you got to be able to shoot. How do you find a player from Europe who can't shoot? I thought that you had to be able to do that.